Hi there, NNDM, a company that has 500 million in market cap, as you can see here, 500 million. And if you look at their balance sheet, their total cash, you'll see that this company has around 800 million in cash. You look at the cash and cash equivalents, 241 million, bank deposits, 342 million, investment in securities, 81 million. And if you do the math, they have more than or close to 800 million. So you compare their total cash, 800 million, and investments, plus investments, with their market cap, which is around 500 million. Now, you will say that this is a bargain. You have a margin of safety. As you probably know, NNDM manufactures and design machines for the semiconductor industry. As there is high demand in this industry, especially from NVIDIA and AI, the market thinks that this company has a great future. Now, let's look at the fundamentals first and then discuss their opportunities. And by the way, in the next video, I'll show you how you can make money with NNDM with low risk, quite low risk. So let's start the analysis. First of all, as I said, 500 million in market cap. And then you look at their balance sheet that has 800 million, around 800 million. Now, you might say that maybe they have some debt. Let's look at their total liabilities, which are around 40 million. If you subtract their total liabilities from their cash on hand plus investments, you'll be left with 800 million. So still the market cap is traded below the cash on hand. And that's great. You have 300 million above the market cap. Now, let's see more. Why the market cap is so undervalued compared to their cash position? Well, let's also look at their income statement. Look at their revenue for the last 6 months, 2024. You can see that the total revenue was about 28 million, right? 28 million. And then let's look how much money they made. You can see here income for the period, which was the last close to 80 million. So as you can see, this company is not profitable. They are burning more than they make to stay in business. You can also look at the last 3 months, same losses, over 40 million, 9 million, and for 2023. So this is a problem, the first problem, because if they don't make enough money to cover their expenses, they'll use this cash on hand to fund their operations and stay in business, right? But still, as I said, you have 300 million above the market cap in cash. Now, if you read more, if you study this company, you will see that NNDM wants to acquire 2 companies. The first company is Desktop Metal, and the shareholders already approved this merger with NNDM. So first company, Desktop Metals, and they will pay around, let me show you here, 183 million for that acquisition, Desktop Metal. Keep in mind this number, 183 million. Then they announced another acquisition for Markforged. Here, Markforged, where NNDM will pay another 115 million. So you have 150 million for Markforged and 183 million for Desktop Metal. If you do the math, it's close to 300 million. 300 million will be used for those 2 acquisitions. And when you subtract 300 million from their cash position of 800 million, you are left with 500 million, close to the market cap. So as you can see, the market in the short term is quite efficient. In the short term. Be aware of this, in the short term. But what happens if Nano Dimension acquires two companies? What will happen with the revenue of Nano Dimension? Will go up, right? And when the revenue of Nano Dimension goes up, and probably also their earnings, also the stock price will go up, right? Well, that's the case if Nano Dimension buys a profitable company, a good company. So let's look at those two companies, their fundamentals. First, let's start with Desktop Metal, where they are paying, they want to pay over 180 million. 180 million. So, as Desktop Metal made about or close to 190 million in 2023 in revenue, the price to sales is around 1. This is a good price. They don't pay 5 times the revenue. They pay only 1 time the revenue. But pay close attention to this. You see here, total revenue, right? For 2023, close to 190 million. But if you look at the operating income, you see a huge loss of 201 million. And this is huge, quite huge. And of course, their final earnings attributable to shareholders are over 323 million. So this is quite huge, quite huge. So as you can see, and you can also look at the past. For the last 12 months, here another loss of over 300 million. In the past 2022, a loss of over 700 million and another loss of 200 million for 2021. So as you can see, Nano Dimension is buying an unprofitable company, Desktop Metal. This means that the revenue will increase, but also the losses for Nano Dimension will increase, will go up. You see here those losses, over 300 million, they'll go to Nano Dimension income statement, here. Instead of 80 million in loss, they will report over 300 million. Of course, you might say that they might save some money. They will reduce the costs, but still, they are huge losses. Now, let's look at the other acquisition, the second acquisition that they announced. Markforged. You can see that in 2023, this company had about 93 million in revenue. But their operating income was a loss of 81 million. So this company looks better compared to Desktop Metal. Their losses compared to the revenue aren't that huge. And of course, the final net earnings are about 103 million. Still, as you can see, both companies are unprofitable. They will combine those two companies together with Nano Dimension, another losing company. They are losing a lot of money. They burn a lot of money because they have no profits. You can look at the past. So they combine all those three companies in one company. And what gets is a company with higher revenue. That for sure will happen, because this Desktop Metal has over or close to 180 million plus 90 million for Markforged. And you add Nano Dimension with over 30 million, close to 50 million or 60 million, depends on the results for the second half of this year. So in total, you'll have a company with revenue of about 300 million. Now the question you should ask is how large their losses will be. Because they combine the revenue, but be aware that they also combine their losses. A loss of 80 million plus a loss of 300 million plus a loss of 100 million. So the losses will be over or close to 500 million. And that's huge. That's quite huge. This means that if NNDM has, or they report a loss of 500 million, of course, they might reduce their costs. Let's say they report a loss of 400 million. But still, it's a lot of money, a lot of losses. Now, imagine they have a loss of 400 million. This means that they'll use their cash, what's left, 500 million after the acquisition. They'll use this money to fund those unprofitable businesses. And guess what will happen when they'll start to burn more money in the future? Well, their cash position will be burned. And as the market cap is based only on their cash position, the stock price will go lower and lower. So this is the huge problem with this company. No earnings, they are burning a lot of money to fund their operations, and besides that, they buy other unprofitable companies with a lot of losses. And in the long term, you know the answer. What will happen? They will continue to issue more shares, take on more debt to fund their operations, but that will be a loss for current shareholders. Of course, in the short term, you might see those ups and downs. Another short squeeze or other things, but in the long term, shareholders will be affected. Be aware of this huge risk because there is high dilution and a lot of losses. Of course, as I said, you can make money anytime with this company. If you want to speculate, of course, gamble. Now, in the second video, which is available only for members, I will show you how you can make money with NNDM with low risk. And I'll explain you how you can make that gain, that profit. And if you have other questions, please let me know in the comments.